April 9th, 1940. Before dawn, Nazi Germany invades Denmark. Within hours, Denmark surrenders. To the outside world, this may seem like cowardice, but was it? Why did this small Scandinavian nation seemingly bow to Hitler without a fight? To understand, let's set the stage. At the time, Europe was unraveling. Poland had already fallen, Norway was under attack, and France was preparing for the inevitable. Denmark was caught between powerful neighbors and a war it couldn't possibly win. The Danish military was outmatched. Fewer than 15,000 troops, outdated equipment, and no significant air force or navy. Germany, on the other hand, unleashed a modern blitzkrieg, capable of overwhelming even the strongest armies in a matter of days. Denmark's leaders knew they had no chance of winning in a direct conflict. But this wasn't just about military strategy. The government's priority was to protect its people and its infrastructure. They faced a grim choice: resist and face the kind of devastation seen in Poland, or surrender and try to negotiate a path of survival. Within hours of the invasion, Denmark chose to surrender. On the surface, this seemed like complete submission, but it was more complex. By agreeing to cooperate with the Nazis, Denmark secured a unique arrangement. The monarchy remained intact, the Danish government continued to function, and, remarkably, daily life for many Danes carried on with a sense of normalcy. But this cooperation came at a cost. Denmark was forced to supply food and resources to Germany. Danish factories were repurposed for the war effort, and the Nazis used Denmark as a propaganda tool, showcasing it as a model protectorate where the population willingly supported the Reich. To many outsiders, it looked like Denmark had betrayed its ideals. Yet, beneath the surface, the reality was very different. Denmark's leaders knew their position was precarious. Cooperation wasn't an endorsement of Nazi ideology, it was a way to buy time and avoid further bloodshed. Meanwhile, pockets of resistance began to form. Danish citizens quietly sabotaged German operations. Workers in factories slowed production. Underground networks smuggled information to Allied forces. And then, there was Denmark's response to the Holocaust. In 1943, the Nazis ordered the deportation of Denmark's Jewish population. This was a turning point. The Danish government, which had largely cooperated until then, refused to enforce anti-Jewish laws. When German forces began planning roundups, the Danish resistance, supported by ordinary citizens, sprang into action. Over the course of a few weeks, more than 7,000 Danish Jews were smuggled to neutral Sweden in fishing boats and other small vessels. This act of defiance became one of the most successful rescue operations of the Holocaust. It was a moment that showed the true character of the Danish people. Despite surrendering in 1940, they were far from passive. So, why did Denmark surrender? It's easy to label the decision as cowardice or collaboration, but history tells a more nuanced story. Surrendering wasn't about giving up. It was about surviving. It was about making the best of an impossible situation. By avoiding open conflict, Denmark saved countless lives and preserved its infrastructure. By cooperating just enough, they gained the space to quietly resist, undermine the Nazis, and protect their Jewish population. And in the end, Denmark's choices during the war left a legacy of quiet heroism, a nation that refused to lose its humanity, even under the shadow of tyranny. It's a reminder that sometimes survival itself is an act of resistance,